Jonathan Groff is a Broadway vet, last seen on the boards in his Tony-nominated turn as King George in Hamilton. As he enjoys the success of his buzzed-about TV show Mindhunter, the charming Broadway.com favorite talks about branching out on the Netflix hit, laughing uncontrollably in Spring Awakening, crying watching Frozen on stage, and more on this week's Show People. Mr. Groff, how are you? What's so funny? What's so funny?
I just like that you started it so formal.
Well, it is formal. You're a big TV. You're in one of the hottest. Okay, I just want to tell you. Last night I went out and I was at a bar and there were a bunch of Broadway people there. And
What bar?
everyone was talking about Mindhunter. I swear to God, I got into a conversation about Mindhunter with like everyone in the room. It's blowing up.
Oh my God, that
So
just made
congratulations.
my day. Thank you for
I
telling me that.
binged it on day one.
You binged it?
I binged it.
Okay.
I binged it, of course. How can I not binge Jonathan Groff and David Fincher? I mean, come on, this is like important television. What's nice about Netflix is the waves of like word of mouth.
Yes.
And like, are you feeling that?
I'm
that
just
this is
starting
a thing?
to. Yeah, people on the streets and people at parties are starting to come up and talk about it.
Tell you what episode they're on.
Yes, I'm on the Tickle episode.
That's the thing. Yeah, there's a lot of like, I'm on 5, and I'm like, wait till the end, wait till 10.
Yes. It is. It's exciting because you never know. It's like people reading the same book as opposed to watching the same.
Right.
Because usually a TV show, or not usually, but historically,
Right.
the TV show is week to week. So
Yeah.
you talk about that. But now it's people are at different spots. So it's
Yeah.
cool.
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
And it's such a cool project. So David Fincher is, of course, a brilliant director.
Yeah.
Are you like a fan of a lot of his work in the past?
Huge
Very
fan.
dark.
Huge fan though. It's
Yeah.
funny, like, well, I auditioned for The Social Network. That was how I
Right.
met him.
Right.
But even like when I got this job, I was like, you know what? Let me go back and rewatch all of David's films, and
All in one night with the lights
all in
off?
one night, yeah, binging all of his movies, and I realized that I'd seen all of them. He's just one of those filmmakers that you're like, oh right, Gone Girl and Fight Club and
Yeah.
Seven and
Oh my God.
yeah,
Yeah.
the list goes on and on.
The best. And so how did this project come your way? And were you like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome?
I was in Hamilton.
Which was a big thing. That was a big show.
That was a big
That was
show.
a big moment.
Yeah,
It was a
exactly.
big moment every night. Cheers.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
are you missing all that applause in your life? I mean, it must have been nice to feel
Always.
that
I'm
love.
an actor, so I'm like a bottomless pit of needing applause. A
Right.
bottomless pit of need. So yeah, every day I'm like
Right.
looking for applause. But no, I was doing the show and my agent just sent me the script and the information about the show, and it said David Fincher. And I said, yes, I want it, before reading it, yes, I want to audition for it, having no idea what the role was or anything.
Okay.
And then I read the show, and as you know from seeing it,
Yeah.
the scenes are these long 15-page scenes with the serial killers. And it's almost like a play.
Yeah.
Because they're incredibly psychological, and they play out over such a long period of time that it isn't like your normal film or TV audition side that's like 3 scenes and it's in different locations and so I was so intrigued by the density of the material, and then he also gave us this sort of like character arc gave me the character arc of like where it was headed and stuff, and it seemed so interesting. So I put myself on tape, and then the next day they were like, Fincher liked your tape, can you fly on Monday, on the day off from Hamilton, to meet him and audition for him in person. And so I met him in LA on a day off from Hamilton.
And you did a long scene where he was the serial killer? Is that what happened?
Oh my God, no, but I would he's also such a good actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because when we in rehearsal and stuff, he'll be reading, if someone isn't there or whatever.
Yeah.
David Fincher, the crazy thing about him is he can do everybody's job better than everybody else, including acting. I would be like, can you say that line again? Because actually the way you just said it is how I want to say it. He's so great. No, I went and just sat with him, and he kind of talked about the project and his goal for the show and sort of what he was looking to explore, and then it was on.
So he directed he directed the first 2 of the season and the last 2 of the season. And you talked about the arc of the character. And this is what I really love about this performance. It shows how rich your entire work was on the show, and it really feels like your character really is on a journey over the entire season. And the final moments are riveting, but it really felt like, wow, he was really like taking me on something. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Like, and I guess a lot of it is about this character. He's kind of not comfortable in his skin, and he's kind of figuring his own fascination out with these serial killers, right?
Yeah,
And so did you really pay attention to that entire arc while you were performing it.
Yeah, and one of the things that David said in the beginning was Holden, the character I play, is not an actor. You know, he's an FBI agent, so he doesn't have this sort of social graces and fluidity that you, Jonathan, as an actor have. He's not charming, he can't socially like negotiate things in a comfortable way in his life until he sits across the table from Ed Kemper, and that's where he sort of discovers who he is. At the same time, he's also having his sexual awakening with his girlfriend while talking to these...
Spring awakening, if you will.
A little spring awakening, if you will, exactly. And so it was so interesting to kind of go through and track how that changed him. And I even remember in the audition scene, getting the Richard Speck interview, which happens in the 9th episode, where he's like they learn this sort of tactic of mirroring back the language of the serial killer in order to get them to open up. And watching him from the first episode, this sort of like buttoned up Mormon looking, you know, scared kid with even with Ed Kemper, to suddenly having this tactic where he's mirroring this thing. I was like, whoa, there's so much here to there's so much here to explore. And then that final scene with Ed Kemper, where it's like he's coming back to like a jilted lover almost. Ed Kemper is like, why don't you call me anymore? Yeah. Just so like humorous and disturbing to me.
Yeah, it seems like it wouldn't have been the same kind of maybe set atmosphere as like Glee, for example. Seems like potentially maybe
Madonna
quieter.
Isn't pumping through the, even though Fincher did direct like the Express Yourself video. Which is true.
Is that one of the works that you watched in that one? In
Yes.
That binge? I got to watch Express Yourself at least 8 times between every movie.
Exactly.
I remember that was like his first big thing.
Yeah, he was and he did the George
epic
Michael
music video.
Yeah, I mean, it's his career is so insane.
Yeah, but when you were on set in between scenes, what did you do? Did you sort of just like, I just picture you like by yourself, kind of like
crying,
getting ready for the next
gently in the Well, it was sort of it was like there was a balance, because in one way it was a marathon. And it was such a great opportunity and such an amazing part, and I wanted to really do my homework and be able to give it my all when I got on set. So there was that aspect of it, but then I would have these like my shirt, for example, because my character is so like repressed and perfect and kind of anal. I was wearing this thing where it would like connect my shirt to my socks.
Like
it was almost like a garter, yeah.
Really?
Because my character is so everything had to be absolutely perfect. So I was strapping myself in every day to my outfit.
Wow.
And then sitting in these very kind of specific postures and
Are you imitating me? Sitting in my
oh my God, what if I had suddenly just
a little bit
so tell me about your mother.
Are you mirroring me?
Maybe.
Acting.
But then I would have these like insane laughing fits. Holt McCallany, who plays Bill Tench,
he's
so
brilliant,
amazing.
by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but I fell in love with him watching the show.
Of course, he's incredible.
Yeah.
He's also, to me, just a hilarious person. We're also so opposite.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the odd couple. And I remember watching him get into the car one day, and I just lost it. And I started laughing, and I couldn't stop laughing. And it was this running thing. Then like weeks later, we're in the scene talking about something serious, and again, like, I had to do laps around the set because I couldn't stop laughing. But it's actually something that happened to me. It's my Achilles heel, always. And it started on Spring Awakening.
Really?
At performance 300, I think it was 303 of
You
Spring
remember
Awakening.
the performance number?
I remember the performance number because John Gallagher and I broke. Something inside of us broke, and it's never been fixed again. Where he came in for the scene before Touch Me, and he like slid in, right, with his like crazy hair. And it wasn't even anything that either of us said. We just looked at each other and just started hysterically laughing and couldn't stop. And starting the scene, then I pulled the microphone out and I was like, where I go, where I go. And then Lauren Pritchard was like, doing her like Lauren Pritchard laugh as she's doing the thing. But ever since that moment, it's like this thing that happens to me where I also find acting so absurd. Because we're just in costumes playing.
I think
pretend.
it's healthy to keep yourself in reality about what you're doing.
Yeah. So it manifested itself on Mindhunter, starting with Holt getting in the car, and I was just like, this is hilarious.
And so when are you guys actually going to do The Odd Couple on Broadway? Is this happening? Is this
that would be so fun.
That'd be really fun for fans of Mindhunter.
That would be so. Maybe we'll do like a benefit reading.
Sure.
Like a one night only moment.
You could do it here.
We could do it here.
No audience. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Jonathan Groff. We're back with Mr. Jonathan Groff, new Netflix star, Jonathan Groff. That's what everybody wants to be now, right? A Netflix star.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun working for Netflix. It really is.
It's like the height of showbiz right now.
There's not a lot of cooks in the kitchen. It's like they let their people just create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of people creating, I know you're a big Thoroughly Modern Millie fan, as am I. Mark Kudish, can we give Mark Kudish a shout out?
Yes.
He's so good on Mindhunter.
Yes.
I was like, go Kudish.
Oh, he's
You were so
so
mean
good.
to him on that show, though.
I know.
Ah, so that final moment with him.
And I was so excited, never worked with Kudish before.
Yeah.
And so I was just grilling him the whole time about like Millie stuff. We talked about it the whole time. It was so fun to work with him. He's so good.
Yeah.
He's such an amazing actor.
I know.
And he's so good in the show. He's
know.
like he's got that level of like just a little bit of creepy, but not so much that it's like kind of ambiguous. Is he a weird principal, or is he like the greatest principal of all time?
Right. Trevor Creighton. And you guys were talking about Millie. Literally,
Tell me where my desk is when we eat lunch, how much I'll be paid, and nice to meet you. I know we'll be friends, just call me Millie Graydon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, the Patter song. Yeah.
I remember one time that I went to go see it, they were doing the speed test scene.
Yeah.
And she was sitting and she was taking...
Sutton Foster.
She, with a capital S, she, Sutton Foster. The royal she. And she was writing in her pad, and he crossed over to stage right, and she sort of like scurried over next to him and showed her his like notepad.
Oh.
And he like did this smile. I just remember it so vividly. He did this smile, and I remember thinking, I think she like wrote something inappropriate on that pad. I don't think that they're acting right now. I think that they're
and
like.
You asked him.
Yeah.
And did he?
I was like, would Sutton
Was it a
write stuff
constant
on
thing?
that pad? Yeah. And he was like, I don't remember.
That story went nowhere. Can we get, is the royal she here? Can Sutton Foster come in and tell us? Sutton? No? Okay, we'll
They
find
had
out.
such good chemistry in that
Oh
show.
my God, so good. It was, yeah, I agree. I miss Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Me too.
Anyway, good old days. So I have a question. Now that you're a big TV star again, what about social media? I know you don't like social media. And I wonder, the reason why I'm bringing this up, well, you're not on it.
Right.
I'm not saying you don't like it, but you're not on it.
Yeah, right.
But, or at least not as yourself. I'm sure you have some lurking names. But my question is, I feel like actors, isn't there like a pressure like to promote the show? Doesn't like Netflix want you to be on social media? Isn't that like, doesn't it come up? I hear that it comes up sometimes for actors.
It never came up for me.
Really?
No, and when I met Jenny T, my publicist, who's sitting behind the camera, at our meeting a year or whatever ago, I was like, I'm just not on social media. And I think social media is great. You know, it's useful in so many ways, but I think in order for it to be effective for any particular person, you also have to be really into it. You can't really half-ass it, or else what's the point? And it's just not, I don't like being on my phone. It's just not my thing. So I don't think it would be effective because it's not something that gets my heart rate going.
Right.
And she was like, yeah, that's fine. No one has ever pressured me into it.
Do you like the mystery? Like, because I think that's a valid point. I think it's interesting for actors to not.
Oh, I wish it was that. Like,
It's
no,
not that. It's not that
it's
you're
not
trying
that.
to.
It's that I like. I think if Facebook came out when I was in high school, I probably would be on all social media. It just was never a part of my everyday situation, and so I just never did it.
Right.
I like delete my texts after I respond to them, so I can remember to get back to everyone. That, it's like how I keep track, or I delete all my emails after I respond because I want to make sure I get back to people. And the idea of expanding that to then social media interactions just makes me feel tired. That's really what it is. Yeah.
We don't want that. I don't want that.
And I just don't. I look at my phone too much. I look at. I'm not wearing one, but I just got a watch recently, a normal watch.
A normal watch.
So that I wouldn't have to look at my phone.
So you know what time it is.
Yes. So I don't have to look at my phone for the time and be like, oh, okay. Now I have to do all this.
Right. Okay. Can you imagine like if Instagram was around during Spring Awakening? I feel like there would have been so many crazy things. You guys would have been monsters.
That probably would have been great. I mean, it's such a great way to promote shows. I mean,
Yeah.
with the kids.
Yeah, like Mindhunter.
Actually,
You could promote Mindhunter on social media if you wanted to.
I could, yeah. I don't know if like teenagers are watching Mindhunter, but maybe they are.
Sure.
But even, I remember with Spring Awakening, we did a music video of The Bitch of Living
Yes.
for YouTube.
Yes.
Which was a huge, this was before social media.
Yep.
And it was a big deal that we shot it off Broadway at the Atlantic. And it was like, we're gonna make a video
Right.
of the song
Yeah.
to put on the internet to appeal to the young people. It seemed so groundbreaking.
So obviously everybody loves Looking. Looking was a great, beautiful project that was sort of a big part of your life for a few years.
Yeah.
And I love that you went from Looking to Mindhunter. I mean, you talk about like the scope, and you're playing a heterosexual man in Mindhunter. You are having heterosexual sex.
Correct.
There's some maybe sort of graphic moments, some illusions.
Yep.
You're going there.
There's a butt shot.
That's Spring Away. That's old.
I know, right?
We've seen that. We saw that a long time ago, Mr.
I know.
Groff.
Me having straight sex is so boring. It's like I've been doing it for 10 years.
Have you had any challenges getting people to be open to you playing straight characters? I was wondering because obviously, you came out after. I mean, a couple of years after Spring Away, I guess you sort of publicly came out, and you've been super gay.
Yeah.
And when you were promoting Looking, you just constantly talk about gay sex. I mean,
Totally.
you just went there.
Yep.
And you had a lot of it on camera. So, have you experienced that at all, or
Well, it's
not really?
interesting because when I initially came out, it was actually through
You
Broadway.com.
came out on Broadway.com, which I
came
wanted
out,
to bring up. Yeah, you actually.
Yeah, which is a huge deal.
We were your chosen outlet.
Thank you,
to come out
Broadway.com.
on
Thank
Broadway.com.
you. Thank you for outing me.
Yeah, and talk about
facilitating
why.
it.
Well, actually, I was reading that you personally came out to like your family and friends right
Yeah.
after Spring Awakening.
Yeah, so it happened in like waves. So right after I left Spring Awakening, I came out like a month after it was over. I was 23. I had a personal revelation. I went traveling by myself. I realized I wanted to be open about who I was, and my whole life changed. So I did that with my friends and family. But then there was no like opportunity to come out publicly. But then I was at the March on Washington.
Right.
That's where we all went down there,
Yeah.
right? And I was dating Gavin at the time.
Gavin Creel. Tony winner Gavin Creel.
Tony winner Gavin Creel.
Exciting.
The amazing Gavin Creel. And he changed my life in so many ways, and that being one of them. He took all these buses.
Gavin's like a natural activist.
Yeah.
And he was in hair, and he
Totally.
he was very fired up by all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a new side of him that he was also
Yeah.
discovering. It was like which was amazing. And so we went down there, and I was in love, and we were in DC, and it just like made sense. And
Yeah.
somebody asked me, like, are you
Our reporter Kimberly K.
Yeah,
asked
Kimberly
you.
asked me, and she was like, are you gay? And I was like, actually, what happened? Actually, now I remember what happened. She sort of asked me, and I was like, and she was like, oh my God, I don't want to make you feel weird. Forget I said that. And she walked away. And I just was like looking around and looking at Gavin, who was like, speaking on a megaphone. And I was like, no, like what? I feel so wrong to be standing here. And I always knew that I would come out.
Yeah.
And to me, like love was more important than career, or like trying to protect something that doesn't even really exist. Like love to me is so much more important.
Right.
And so I walked over to her and I was like, hey, I want to just say that I know you asked me this question, and I'm sorry to walk over here after you just asked, but yeah, I'm gay. And she was like, on the record? And I was like, yeah. And so that happened. And it was great, and it was a great experience. But then Looking came along, and I thought, wow, okay, it's one thing to be a gay actor, and then it's another thing to be gay on screen and have sex with men on screen and talk about gay identity for potentially years.
Right.
Am I just like stamping a giant GAY across my forehead, and maybe I'll just forever be typecast as a gay person? That was my like insecurity in going for that project. But the movie Weekend, Andrew Haig's movie, I saw it at the IFC here, and it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? Let me just put away that dumb insecurity about being labeled as a certain thing forever, and just do this. I just believed in the project.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like you take a risk, maybe I will only play gay characters forever, and that would have been fine. But then Mindhunter came along, and so it's like as much a surprise to me as anything else that this opportunity happened.
Yeah.
And it's also, I feel like, a reflection of being an actor in 2017. Because even 10 years ago, if you came out, it was a different thing.
Yep.
And so hopefully it's just a reflection of a bigger thing that everybody's catching up with the times, and we don't have to. It's such a silly notion that your sexuality in your real life would determine your intimacy and chemistry with people on a set or on a stage. Because we had straight people playing gay on Looking, and it's all about chemistry between two people as characters, not necessarily what someone does in the privacy of their own house. Yeah, we're not actually having sex with each other on camera.
Yeah.
It's acting. So just FYI.
FYI.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great.
It's great progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're getting down on Mindhunter with her. All right, we're gonna take another break, and we're gonna talk more with Mr. Jonathan Groff. Hey, look, we're back, and Jonathan Groff is here. I'm always excited when you're here. You should stop by more often, really.
I love it here.
So since Broadway.com is your chosen outlet to reveal things, is there anything you want to reveal? Do you want to come out about anything? Or
Oh, great question. No, I feel like
you're kind of like
that's
an
like the
open book.
thing. I mean, once you do that, it's
Right.
What do you have left?
What? What's left? We know everything. We
Yeah.
can't know everything, though.
Can anyone really know anything?
We know
Everything?
Somebody on staff here wanted an update on Lea Michele, the goat. Is
Dead.
she still
Dead. She's dead.
She died.
Lea Michele, the goat, has passed.
Oh. She had offspring.
She had such a good life, though. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
she was over a decade. She was like the go-to producer of other goats.
Oh, okay.
Yep, she's very fertile, and lived a very long life.
Oh.
Yeah.
But goats die. I mean,
Goats die.
everything.
People die.
People die.
Yeah.
Goats die.
Goats
but,
die. Yeah.
And that was, of course, Lea Michele, the goat was featured on Side by Side by Susan Blackwell. That was a fun episode.
Oh,
We got
such
to
a
see
fun
where
episode.
you grew up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was in your childhood home.
Yep.
And I met your mom,
Yep.
and like we were there.
Oh my God,
and
yeah.
That's still there.
Up in
They
it.
still live there.
They still live there.
Do you visit there often, or?
I was just there yesterday morning. I came back.
Okay.
Yeah, I went there's this place called Cherry Crest Farms, where at the end of fall every year they drop a giant pumpkin to commemorate the end of fall. So it was a 1,600-pound
Drop it from
organically
where?
grown pumpkin from the sky. They take a crane and they
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then it just drops, and you all.
and it's the end of fall. Yeah.
And the town cheers, and
Yeah.
Now, is this like real Jonathan Groff? Is this sort of like where you feel at home? Is that more you than like city Jonathan Groff, or they're both parts?
God, I feel like the character Levin from Anna Karenina, where like I'm not really of the farm and not really of the city. I fall somewhere in between.
That's highbrow.
Yeah.
Do
Is
you-
it?
Can you imagine yourself like living in a place like that eventually, or raising children? Do you want to have children? Do you want to raise them in a place like that, or?
I think I'd need like a boyfriend before I decide to think about children.
Right.
but
I'm thinking long term.
long term,
Boyfriend
okay.
first.
Like dreamcast thing, okay. Yeah, I do love my family, and I love being home with my family. My brother has 2 kids. And when I'm around like the kitchen table with my brother and his wife and their kids and my dad and my mom, I feel great.
Yeah.
And so the idea of recreating the feeling of that is definitely feels like that. I would like to do that at some point, and I would want to maybe have a place in Lancaster. I just love Lancaster, PA. I really do. So it's maybe someday having a place there and a place in New York would be a dream.
Okay.
I love both.
Yeah.
I think I feel most myself in the city when I'm riding bike to a play. To either do a play or to see a play.
A city
when
bike or your own bike?
My own bike.
Your own bike, okay.
My own bike. When I'm riding to or from the theater, that's when I feel like I'm living my dream.
I can see that. Yeah, it's a nice feeling. You feel like you're in control and you're not dealing with like a lot of the BS of the city and like traffic and like you're kind of in control.
And also
wind in your
just
hair.
having a bike in New York made me fall in love with New York because you're seeing all the neighborhoods and you get to experience it in a palpable way.
So I want this family thing for you. So who's like what's the perfect kind of guy for you? What do you look for? 'Cause you've had some public relationships, which must be weird.
It's so hard. Yeah, no.
I mean, it must be weird. Like, you stay friends with your exes generally? Are you that guy?
Weirdly, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but like, what's an ideal? Like, what are you looking for? What would your dating profile say? What do you?
Okay, this is important
Because everybody wants to know this. This is very important. This is the most important part of the interview.
What am I looking for? I don't really have a type. I've dated all different types, all different ages. Mm-hmm. What I'm looking for is that thing when you sit down with someone and, at least initially what I'm looking for, is that thing when you sit down with someone and you can't stop talking to each other. When all of a sudden hours go by. And I have that with friends. A lot of my friends, a lot of my close friends, my friend like Justin or my friend Susie, or I'd sit down and it's like, oh my God, we've been sitting here for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So that's like a quality that I'm looking for. But I don't really
You can't predict that.
You can't. No. Yeah, that's the thing that's either there or it's not.
Yeah.
So that, and I don't really have a physical type.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
He's open. He's open to a lot of things. So I saw you out in Denver, opening night of Frozen, which was fun. Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy watching Frozen on stage? Was that crazy for you? You're obviously in the movie, and you'll be in Frozen 2, correct?
Yes, correct.
Did you already record that?
Started recording it.
Did you start
that week, actually?
Did you start, and you were recording songs and stuff?
I am not at liberty to say anything.
You don't want to play us any demos off your phone?
Except that will be featured as Kristoff in Frozen 2, and we've started recording it.
Is it a crazy plot? You can't talk about anything.
I can't talk about anything.
You can't talk about anything.
No,
it's weird how far ahead you do these things.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any indication of what would happen to you from would Disney actually? Can they do something to you what if you like revealed?
If I in this moment revealed the plot of Frozen to you, I would implode. I would. Yeah, you would
put
see
something in you.
Blood, a la like Millie Bobby Brown, would just start pouring out of my nose.
Stranger Things. I love that. I love that you're promoting another Netflix series.
Yeah. Listen, gotcha. Yes. Netflix is great. Yeah, I would start to bleed, and then I would just fall over.
So you're watching Frozen on stage, and Jelani Aladdin, who has like the most Disney name ever, I feel like. I mean, it's just kind of a crazy Disney name.
Yeah.
He's playing Kristoff in the musical.
Yeah.
And you're sitting in the audience thinking, you have no idea what happens to this character. Like, you have so much character information.
I was like,
you're like,
bitch,
dude, this is so 4 years ago.
No, he made me cry.
Did he?
Yeah, even just like thinking about it makes me want to cry. Yes, there's this whole they wrote so much new material. He actually knows more about Kristoff than I do.
Okay.
Because they wrote so much new material for the characters. So the whole story and the relationship between he and Anna is so filled out in this beautiful way. And I won't spoil it for those who haven't seen it, but you and I have seen it. And he has this moment in the second act with this like beautiful song that just like made me cry. He was incredible.
And did you meet him?
Of course, yeah. We had a photo op like backstage. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Is that nice?
It was great.
Is it weird to be like the senior person?
I'll just like take a picture with anyone.
Is it weird to be like Carol Channing going to see Hello Dolly? Is it weird to be the elder person in this scenario?
It's exactly. It's interesting because yes, we were all in Frozen because obviously it's our voices, but there is a disconnect because it's not like it's animated. So I never even interacted with Josh or Adina or Kristen. We were all in a recording studio. So there's this kind of personal experience that I have with it, but they're actually living it on stage and playing it out on stage every night. It's a totally different thing. So I didn't feel like the way I felt when I saw Kyle Riabko in Spring Awakening for the first time, where you're watching someone do what you did.
Right.
It's a different experience.
Right. And Casey Levy, of course, is an old friend of yours, and she's letting it go.
She's
having a diva moment.
Go. I mean, you were there at intermission after she sings that song.
Yeah.
I think I felt like I was lit on fire.
I saw you moments later. You were actually lit on fire.
I was like, ah! I was so amped. But the whole audience, we were like, I couldn't catch my breath.
Yeah.
It's so stunning.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even say what happens.
No, I know.
During it because it was so shocking.
Yeah, I know.
And it was so thrilling and so over the top in the best way.
But simple in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
But very simple,
like theatrical and not...
And like classy and just like boom.
Like they didn't shoot her out of a rocket over the audience or anything. She
No.
she just sang it and did little things.
That were amazing. That were...
It was exciting.
Oh my God, she's incredible. And she sang the I'm not going to swear, but she sang that song.
Yeah. Yeah.
She sang that song down.
Yeah, she sang it down.
She sang it down. She's incredible.
Yeah.
And I just did the hair one night only thing with her.
Reunion.
And she was singing Easy to Be Hard, and I was just like, man, that is a voice.
Yeah.
I mean, she is extraordinary.
I know you want to, your dream is to sort of do everything, and hopefully more TV and maybe Mindhunter. But Broadway, I mean, you're always open to Broadway, right?
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
You're always missing it. You're always around. You're always like part of the
world.
world.
If you knew how much I'm always missing it, it's a deep thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of moments do you dream of? Like if you were gonna like craft your own show, like what's like the perfect?
Well, I want to be Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady, but Lauren Ambrose got in there, and now I have to wait another decade.
So you were up for that? Was that an option? Was that something?
I wish I was up for that. Between that and every day I'm texting Tommy Kail about playing Angelica.
Oh. Is Tommy Kail open to that?
I don't know. I feel like Hamilton is such a groundbreaking show. Why not just really take it to the next level?
Take it to the next level.
And just make it a white man. I'm just obsessed with Renee. I actually don't want to be myself as Angelica. I want to be Renee Elise Goldsberry as Angelica, which makes it even more complicated. Yeah.
Right.
She's so awesome.
Well, is there anything else you want the people to know before you leave us?
I want the people to know that I love them.
Good. That's good.
And that's all. That's all I have to give.
Well, they love you too. And if anyone
can only give you love that lasts forever, and a promise to be there each time you call.
I'm not going to stop you. You just keep
I was like, how does the rest of it go?
Huh?
That's all.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's
actually.
all. Well, that's the perfect way to end it.
Thank you, Mr. Groff. I don't know why I'm calling you Mr. Groff. It just feels like you have a new authority to you.
I like it.
Yeah. He's not going to
take it. I'm not going to stop you.
Everyone needs to check out Mindhunter. It's fantastic. And you know what's great about it? You can watch it whenever you want.
Yep. You can watch it right now.
There's no rules. You can watch it at any time.
You can watch the last episode first.
No,
I wouldn't recommend
don't do that.
But
you got to watch it in order. You got to watch it in order.
The rules are off. Yeah.
It's fantastic. And I'm so excited for you. And I'm so happy that when I go to a bar, everyone's talking about you. So anyway, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I wish you well. I hope to see you soon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.